The following is not suitable for children under the age of 18. It contains coarse language, sexual references, as well as my own personal views and opinions. All characters of the show are fictional and are made for fun, not harm. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show, the worst show ever. Hit the music! Hello my masters and welcome to the Sky Genie Show, the absolute worst show ever. We're on episode 40 of the Sky Genie Show and Wrestlemania is finally over. Yes, it is over. No more do we have to deal with it. At least for another year. If you thought the WWE was the only ones that were busy, think again, because the Sky Genie Show was pretty much busy on the whole week of wrestling. And kind of glad it's over because now I get to relax and enjoy my life a bit. It was so much so, I have to push Kim back another episode, so she won't be on this episode either. Hopefully for the next one or sometime next week down the track. I want to give a big special shout out to Johnny Florida and Yuck Nasty who came on to do a live prediction show for WrestleMania. As you would imagine, a lot of problems happened, especially live, and I was the only one they could hear. So me and Yuck went over and redid the first 3 matches of the show. So a big thank you to Yuck Nasty for saving the show. I haven't got a lot of news, but I do have a few reviews. I'm going to do 3 of them on this show. So after the break, it will be the NXT review for Orlando Takeover Show. Are you looking for a good laugh? Then check out Getting the Corner. Getting the Corner. Da Corner. Da Corner. With hosts Yuck Nasty and Dogger Baby. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on Mixlr. Check them out on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on Mixlr. For interesting discussion and debates on professional wrestling, check out Johnny Florida, Michael Corvin, and Old Man Jenkins on Wrestling's National Committee. They talk a wide range of topics on the world that is pro wrestling. Check them out on Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Mixlr. And now for the NXT Takeover Orlando review. The show opens up with a voiceover over the PA of Triple H, who introduces everybody to the show. We then go to our first match, and it's Sanity versus Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Ruby Riott, and the partner replacing Noe Jose, Cassius Ohno. There was a cool spot in the match where Cassius Ohno goes to dive over the top, lands on his hands on the apron on the outside and does a flip out. It looked really cool. Otherwise, this match was okay, but it was nothing special, and your winner was Sanity. We then have Cien Almas. I swear, I hope they shorten the whole name, because I can't pronounce the whole name. They shorten it when they get to the main roster. He was facing the debut of Tommy End, otherwise known as Aleister Black, here in WWE. After a really great match between the two, Aleister Black gets the win. And it's really good we're introducing new people here, because they're promoting that it's going to be a new era in NXT, and obviously with WrestleMania and the Raw after WrestleMania, you're going to get a few NXT call-ups. Come on, Shinsuke Nakamura. We then have the NXT Tag Team Championship Triple Threat Elimination match. Before the match, William Regal introduces the new NXT Championship titles, which look pretty snazzy. It was the Authors of Pain defending the titles against DIY and the Revival. And this was a really well-worked match. And what they did, the Authors of Pain, obviously the big man team, were pretty much trying to fend off DIY and the Revival as the smaller guys, trying to take down the big giants. Obviously that didn't happen. DIY got eliminated, and also the Revival. So your winners and still NXT Tag Team Champions, the Authors of Pain. Next up was the NXT Women's Championship. Just like before, they introduced a new championship. Well, this one it's kind of good that they introduced a new NXT Women's Championship, because we all know what happened to the last one. Thanks, Brad Maddox. But this match was Asuka defending her championship against Ember Moon. And it was a really awesome match between the two. So your winner and still champion is Asuka. Now, a lot of people have been predicting that Asuka is probably going to the main roster as the undefeated NXT champion that could be. I don't know necessarily that might be the case, because as much as Asuka needs to be on the main roster now, NXT still needs people. But then they could have also put on Ember Moon, but the way they made Ember Moon lose here, they put her over pretty strong. So maybe down the line she'll be the next NXT Women's Champion. We then had the main event for the NXT Championship. It was like the other two matches, they introduced a new championship. It was Bobby Roode defending his championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. It was a great main event, but I can't say it was as great as the first match, but it was still great all together anyway. Getting tongue-tied there. Your winner and still champion, Bobby Roode. This to me seemed like a send-off for Shinsuke Nakamura, who had been in NXT for a year. A year ago today, for then pretty much. Now it's time for him to go to the main roster, and hopefully Vince McMahon uses this guy right and doesn't put him in a Orient Express type tag team with Bin Wang. Overall, it was a really great show with every match worth watching. The Sanity match may have been the weak point of the show, but definitely the best match of the night was the Tag Team Championship. I would definitely recommend anybody going back to watch this to do so. And that is my NXT Orlando review. Don't go away, because after the break, the Wrestlemania review. For fans of the Sky Genie Show, please also make sure to check out Wrestling Soup. They drop at 9:30 on Thursday. Join hosts Anthony Missionary Thomas and Joey Numbers as they lightheartedly talk about the world that's happening in professional wrestling, as well as other current events. While over there, please make sure to check out the Saturday morning Shitbox. Have your voice and question heard as Mish and Joey answer questions on their thoughts of professional wrestling or anything else going around in the world. That show drops on Saturday morning-ish. The weeks it doesn't air is because they're doing pay-per-view Sunday. Yes, whenever there's a WWE pay-per-view, Misha and Joey usually review it, sometimes with John Draper. They also have shows on Stitcher and iTunes. If you want to catch the boys live, check them out on Mixlr. And we are back, and now for the Wrestlemania review. First off, it's the pre-show. I don't normally watch the pre-show, but for Wrestlemania, I'll be a little different with it. Why not? So we opened up with the Cruiserweight Championship. It was Neville defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Austin Aries. After a really great match, Neville retains the championship, and I know people are going to be pissed about the fact that Austin Aries did not win the championship, but I think this has a real good chance of being an outstanding feud continuing on. Eventually, Austin Aries will win the championship, but at this point, it's not his time. We then have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and after everybody picked Braun Strowman, I think I picked Luke Harper, they all got taken out, and who is the person that they picked this year? Mojo Jojo. Now, I don't know about you, but who the fuck is that football guy that they interviewed in that match? I mean, really, okay, if you're in the US, you know who he is, but I have no idea who the fuck he is. But either way, you're going to have Mojo Jojo as your 2017 Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. Sink that one in. We then had the Intercontinental Championship, Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. Now, I missed this match until about the end when I had to go to an appointment, but I came back. So instead of grading it, I'll just give the result. So your winner and still champion, Dean Ambrose. We then open up the main show with the New Day. They come out and do their usual shtick. Now, I thought they were going to debut their ice cream, but clearly they didn't. But the first match to open up the show was AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. And I thought this was a really great, fantastic match. And something that was easily a sleeper. AJ Styles can get the best match out of anybody. There were a few crazy spots where Shane hit AJ Styles outside, goes to hit AJ Styles on the announce table and crashes through it. There were a few times I looked at this match and I thought Shane overdid it, but AJ Styles gets the win in this match in a really great match. Next up, we had the United States Championship match. It was Chris Jericho defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens. Now, I thought this was a really awesome match between the two, and these guys really delivered. Your winner and still new champion. Your winner and new United States Champion, Kevin Owens. Next up, we had the Raw Women's Championship. It was Bayley defending the title against Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Nia Jax. This was a okay match, but I was expecting the whole heel turn and not to do it on a Raw, but on WrestleMania where it would have meant something. But I'm happy with this. your winner and still champion, Bayley. We then had the Raw Tag Team Championship ladder match. It was The Club versus Enzo and Kaz versus Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys, who were included into the match from the New Day, and easily got the biggest pop of the night, in my opinion. Your winners and new Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys. It was a really great match too. We then had John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. After a really boring match that went really quick, Cena and Nikki win. After the match, Cena proposes, Nikki says yes, and fucked a lot of it. My scenario of him dumping her live on pay-per-view as a shoot obviously went out the window. You could have made John Cena the biggest babyface out there, but whatever. We then had Triple H versus Seth Rollins in an unsectioned match. I thought this match was freaking awesome. People weren't putting this match over, I guess because they don't like Triple H and Stephanie, but I really enjoyed this match for what it was. Your winner of this match was Seth Rollins, who finally got his revenge. And it's really weird because there was a lot of storytelling in this match, because the whole time from when Triple H screwed over Seth Rollins to now, okay, there was a lot of stuff they had to fill. But I think this match told and made a lot of sense. People who are down on this match, I think you're missing the point completely when watching this. Again, that is my opinion. So, next match is the WWE Championship between Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. After a really boring match, and then this was the worst fucking match on the show. Randy Orton is your winner and new WWE Champion. Next up, we had the Universal Championship, with Goldberg defending his championship against Brock Lesnar. After a really good stiff match, Brock Lesnar gets the win. We then have the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Carmella versus Natalya versus Mickie James versus Naomi. And after an okay match, your winner and new champion, Naomi. New Day come out and announced the attendance, which was 75,245. So then we come to the main event. It was Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker in what became a no-holds-barred match. It was a pretty terrible main event match, especially for WrestleMania standards, but it was your winner and Roman Reigns, but pretty much it was for everything after it. After the match, everybody stood up and paid their respects to The Undertaker. Undertaker would take his gloves, his hat, and his jacket off and leave it in the middle of the ring, signaling his retirement. And that, to me, outshines the match. The match aside, I thought that was a really, really classy move, letting The Undertaker have that be the final person they see on that image of WrestleMania as he retires. Undertaker is a symbol of WrestleMania and should continue to be that. As for Roman Reigns, it does nothing for him going forward except maybe getting more booed from everybody in the crowd, because now he's the guy that retired The Undertaker. So I don't see this as a win-win in anybody's case, but for The Undertaker as a send-off, I thought it was pretty well done. So overall, I thought it was a lot better show than I or anybody expected. The last 4 matches I thought bombed, but the Taker send-off was very cool. And that is the WrestleMania review. And we'll be back with the Raw review after the break. For fans of the show, please also check out the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show. Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show is a hard-hitting, with brutal honesty type show, as they give their views on the world of professional wrestling and WWE. They're also on Stitcher and iTunes. If you want to catch them live, listen to them on Mixlr. If you're looking for a very professional show to listen to the Solomonster Sounds off. His show, smokes this one entirely, is a very informative show. Join Jason Solomon as he gives his thoughts on the current events of professional wrestling. Catch his show on Podbean, Stitcher or iTunes. Also check out Jason Solomon's YouTube page where he does extras for pay-per-view shows or interviews with wrestlers in the business. Jason has interviewed the likes of Diamond Dallas Page, Bob Hardcore Holly, the legendary Jim Ross, and even Booker T. Definitely a show worth checking out. And we are back, and now for the Raw review. Show opens up with a graphic of The Undertaker, who retired, leaving all his gear in the ring for Wrestlemania 33 the night before. Roman Reigns comes out to a standing bovation, who gets a 10-minute booing session, then says to the crowd that it's his yard now. Then he leaves. If WWE does not push this guy as a heel now, they are making a giant mistake. If you look at it, they have the potential of the biggest money-drawing heel they could ever have. And it's right there under their noses, yet they won't capitalize on it. Stupid on WWE's part. If they want any progression of Roman Reigns to get any better with the fans, give him an edge. Give him a heel edge first and let him work his way to fans' approval. Because otherwise, he's going to be another John Cena and gets booed more and more every year till the next guy comes along. We then had the Raw Tag Team Championships with the Hardys versus the Club. After a really great match, the Hardy Boys retain the Tag Team Championship. Neville comes out and cuts a promo on Austin Aries, and Mustafa Ali comes out for a match with Neville. After a really great match, your winner was Neville. A limo shows up, and it's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon comes out to the ring. They chant Roman shit sucks loudly, which I started to piss myself laughing at. Then he thanks the fans for WrestleMania. Then announces there will be a shake-up. Or a draft, but I guess draft is a banned word now, probably. He announces that Stephanie is injured and could be out for a long time, which people cheer. Vince McMahon is not happy about that, but I kind of laughed at that too. He goes to introduce the new general manager for Raw, and Teddy Long comes out and dancing around. Well, it wasn't Teddy Long that was becoming the new general manager, it was Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle comes out, gets on the mic and says he is back. It's true. It's damn true. New Day come out and cut a promo, and they issue a challenge in which the Revival come out, making their main roster debut. So it was New Day versus the Revival. After a really awesome match, the Revival win. After the match, they take out Kofi's ankle, which kind of has me thinking, was Kofi injured before WrestleMania? And is this a way to split up New Day or send them to SmackDown? There was a backstage segment with Angle and Kaz and Enzo. We then had a 6-woman tag team match. It was Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, Nia Jax, and the returning Emma. After a really great match, Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Sasha Banks win. After the match, Charlotte pushes both Emma and Nia. Nia takes Charlotte out. I'm wondering if that was meant to be for her to turn babyface, but I don't think it worked. We then had a backstage segment with Jinder Mahal and Sami Zayn in Kurt Angle's office. We then get Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, the new Universal Champion, to come out and cut a promo about beating Goldberg at WrestleMania. They then set a challenge. They're set up for a new challenge. Braun Strowman comes out and confronts Lesnar. Cuts the promo, they have a stare down, and Braun Strowman backs off. They have a backstage interview, with Chris Jericho. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe then takes out Chris Jericho. At this part, my internet cut out, so I couldn't catch part of the show, but I got to Kaz and Enzo versus Cesaro and Sheamus. After a great match, Cesaro and Sheamus win, and they are the number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championship, which leads me to wonder what happens to Kaz and Enzo, and I hope they don't split them up, because that would suck. Then they had Jinder Mahal versus Sami Zayn. After a good match, Sami Zayn wins. And in the main event, we had Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins and the returning Finn Balor to take over for Chris Jericho. After a good main event, your winner is Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Overall, I thought it was a really fun show. It was pretty much your typical Raw after WrestleMania crowd. The chance of we want beach ball. They had a beach ball in the crowd, and I guess it got taken away. Yet they were encouraging it on the announce table. But I really do hope that something's here, like the Roman Reigns thing. I hope they do watch this Raw and use it to turn it around into a good product, because Raw has been terrible for fucking years at this point. And this Raw, the fact they were chanting at Vince McMahon that Roman Reigns sucks. I mean, say what you will, the guy's a main eventer, but the character sucks. And the fans voiced their opinion to him directly. How much more clear can you get with that? But either way, it was a good fun show, and I'd recommend going back to watch it. And that is my review for Raw. And that'll be it for this episode of the Sky Genie Show. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Go on my website at skygenieshow.weebly.com, on my Facebook webpage, the Sky Genie Show page, and on Twitter it's SDD916. I'd like to thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you later.